Today, many garment workers aren't paid enough. This is a big challenge for the fashion industry. But instead of being part of the problem, we decided to be part of the solution. So, we made a unique, first-of-its-kind commitment to set the foundation so that every single garment worker can get a fair living wage. To make that a reality, the most important thing is to strengthen the voices of workers so that they can negotiate their own wages and conditions. But what does fair living wages really mean? Well, it should satisfy the basic needs of workers and their families, as well as offer some spare money to save. On top of that, it should be reviewed and negotiated on a regular basis. A larger part of the total pay is set by minimum wage regulations, often way too low to be counted as a living wage and more a reflection of the poverty line in each country. So, as the first major player in the garment industry, we set an ambitious goal: to build the foundation for fair living wages and worker empowerment. We promised that by 2018, the factories we work with the most should have well-functioning wage management systems implemented. And the factories should have democratically elected worker representatives in place so that every worker can be heard. But why don't we just raise the wages? The simple answer is that H&M Group don't pay the wages, the factory owners do, because we don't own the factories. Let me explain. H&M Group is a big buyer on a global market, a market where every country has different pay structures and every factory its own setup. Also, many of the big fashion brands share factories. This is why a sweater, for example, can cost 8 or 80 euros. It won't change the figure on the payslip. And that's why H&M Group can't do this alone. We need the other fashion brands on board to support higher wages. Because if all the big buyers show that we are willing to stay and keep production in that market, governments are more likely to raise the minimum wages without worrying the country should lose income. And even if the cost of production goes up, we will all benefit from it in the long run. To speed up the progress towards fair living wages, we engaged with powerful people. But the real progress happens every day. When our staff on the ground work for fairer jobs and better conditions during daily meetings with worker representatives, unions and factory managers. We are pushing for change throughout the system. But how can we make wages fair? One part of the worker's wage should be based on skill, experience and performance. So a reliable, transparent and easy to understand wage system is needed. In other words, one which enables employees to know, for instance, when to expect the next paycheck or keep track of overtime hours. Basic things. And factory owners must respect and honor the system. We created a method that the producing factories are now implementing. This has been quite a journey, but we have seen an immense progress since we set goals in 2013. Back then, only 3 of the producing factories had a democratically elected worker representative or a fair living wage system on track. Now, in 2018, 655 factories have one or both of these fair living wages programs, which means more than 930,000 garment workers are on the path to a fair living wage. But our commitment doesn't stop here. We will keep working actively with trade unions and other brands to not only change the structures in our supplier factories, but the entire industry. We won't stop until our work is done.